Hey, what's up? I'm Rafael di Furia, aka Rafi D is me, and I am back at it again on another beautiful Friday night. This week is going to maybe be a little bit of a different sort of video, maybe a little bit shorter than usual. Still without a computer, but thankfully I figured out a way of getting this footage onto my phone and I can work around it. Not an easy workaround, but it's a workaround nonetheless, thankfully. But I'm hoping that everything will be back to normal next week. But this week I wanted to answer another question I get quite often about how do you actually find an apartment? Like, okay, you've made the videos about the €1 apartment or about renting an apartment in Italy, these types of things. But actually, how do you find an apartment? This week, we're not going to be talking about how to find one of these €1 apartments, but just in general, what do you do? But before we get too much deeper into the video, if you would like to see more content like this about moving to Italy, Italian dual citizenship, and living life abroad, please be sure to subscribe with that notification bell turned on. And if you could also give this video a like, I would really appreciate it, as it does help out the channel. And then also, if you would like to help make more videos like this possible on a monthly basis, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/Patreon, or if you just like to help out one time, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/support. Later on in the video, I'll tell you about some websites where you can find listings, public listings by owners. Sometimes they'll be posted by agents, but later in the video, I'll be sure to give you those links. But firstly, I just wanted to give you a few other little things to think about when renting in Italy that I haven't yet mentioned in previous videos. In general, condominium fees are extra and on top of the rent, and the renter will have to pay for them. So keep in mind, the cost of rent that you see, there may be another extra 100, 200 euros on there, maybe 40 euros. Depends on where you are, the type of building that you're in, if there's a cleaner that comes by, these sorts of things. But sometimes it might be included in the rent, just like you might have in some places electricity. It just depends on the specific apartment. But also, if there are fees, building fees, upkeep fees for the apartment, you want to make sure you know what's included in that. And then if there are any kind of last minute strange things that come up, who is the one that's responsible? Is it the tenant or the landlord? For example, not long after moving into the apartment I currently live in, a few weeks later, the landlord came by saying that you have to give X amount of euros. You have to pay for the cleaner to come and pay, because this is how it goes, this is what happens, and this is your responsibility. But in our contract, it said specifically that no, this is not the case. The monthly fee that is paid, that's for everything, and it even listed and included everything, including spese condominiali, these monthly apartment fees. And this is actually going to get into one other point that I think a lot of people overlook, especially because of how much extra it can cost. If you've never lived in Italy before, if this is going to be your first time finding an apartment, and especially if you don't speak the language, finding a real estate agent is going to make all of the difference, especially if you can find one that speaks your language. You really want to make sure that you have somebody that's on your side that can help you through the situation to make sure that you're not getting into any sort of weird kind of contract. But you also want to make sure that it is someone who is trustworthy, that's not just on the side of their client who has the apartment. And this is the same thing everywhere. You always have to keep an eye out. But again, talking about these condominium fees that I was mentioning before, in that specific situation, I didn't quite know what I should do, because I knew what was in the contract. And so what happened was I went to the real estate agent who handled the signing of the contract and everything, because it's like, look, this is what's going on. You were the one who set this all up. What's the deal here? The person said, yeah, look, this is the situation. And they were there and just without any extra service fee, made some phone calls and the situation was taken care of. There was nothing to even think about after that. And since then, everything has been fine. Also, you want to find out if there's a heating system or not, because not all apartments actually include heating. And I've heard horror stories about somebody moving into an apartment in the summer, but then by the time that the winter came, they had no heating in the apartment at all. And the electrical in the apartment couldn't really handle all of the load of having a plug-in heater. And so that person had a very rough winter that year. And I think they actually may have been able to move out of the apartment in the middle of winter just because it was completely non-livable. But for more videos on finding a home here in Italy and apartment hunting, I'll leave that down in the comment section below in a pinned comment, the first one there. So after this video is done, you can go check out those other videos as well. But if I were to not use a real estate agent, what websites would I start looking at to find listings? One of them is going to be casa.it, casa.it. Another one is idealista.it, idealista.it. Another one is called subito.it, which is subito.it. And remember, instead of having a .com or a .net, a lot of websites in Italy actually have a .it as part of their URL. And the last website that I'm going to mention is immobiliare.it, immobiliare.it. One thing to keep in mind is that these websites function in a similar way like Craigslist might. Not all of the listings will be by private owners, but a lot of them probably will be. And another little extra note is that Subito is actually another website where you can find not just places to rent, but also used things that people are trying to sell, services, electronics, tools, all kinds of things. But also another place, one last place that I am going to mention is Facebook. Depending on where you're looking, a lot of towns and cities have a Facebook group that's all about renting, buying, and selling apartments. The larger the city, the more likely that you'll be able to find an active group, but sometimes you might find overlap between these websites, but it's always a good idea to keep looking at all of them just in case one has something that the others don't have, because you never know. Anything's possible, and your dream home might just be waiting for you. Anyway, I hope this video has helped, and if there's anything else you'd like to know about finding a home here in Italy or renting an apartment, feel free to leave that down in the comment section below, or if you have anything to add to the conversation, or tips that may have helped you find a home or apartment here in Italy when you were searching, feel free to leave that down in the comment section, or if you have any questions about any other subjects, feel free to leave that down there too, and who knows, could become a video at some point. And of course, if you would like to see more content like this, please be sure to subscribe with that notification bell turned on. And if you could also give this video a like, I would really appreciate that. And if you would like to help make more videos like this possible on a monthly basis, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/Patreon. Or if you would like to help out one time, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/support. And for shirts, mugs, baby onesies, and more, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/NYAG gear. All of the links are down in the more info section below. And of course, as always, I'm Rafael Di Furia, aka Rafi D is me, and thank you so much for joining me on another beautiful Friday night. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to seeing y'all next Friday. Later.